Ready Player One is an adaptation of the 2011 book by the same name of Ernest Cline, and it is directed by Steven Spielberg and starring Tye Sheridan, Olivia Cooke and Ben Mendelsohn. I honestly was not really looking forward to this film. It just didn't really seem all that interesting. It looked like a clusterfuck of CGI, like a constant reference after cameo, and it looked excessive. That's the best word to describe it. So I wasn't really looking forward to watching it, but I watched it, and the bottom line is, it's okay. It's a perfectly enjoyable little film. It has some really great things, it has some bad other ones, and the overall package is nice. As far as positives go, I must say the concept behind the Oasis and the entire story of this dystopian future where people are just spending their entire lives inside virtual reality to avoid the ugliness of the real world, that's interesting. That's actually a very nice concept, but unfortunately it isn't analyzed all that well. Like, everything revolves around the Oasis and you barely get to know what is happening around the world. And some people are saying, well, there are some of these elements in the film, but honestly it's just small little moments. It should have been, in my opinion, the focus, but then again, I'm not the one who wrote the story or made it, so if you're watching this story just as face value for what it was, for what it is, it's okay. Like, it's hard to hate it all that much. It is a simplistic plot after that. It's basically about this teenager who teams up with some online friends to win this big challenge that will give the winner the power to control the Oasis, even the contract and a shit ton of money. So you have this little group of underdogs who are trying to get these free keys to win the challenge, and then you have this evil corporation with Ben Mendelsohn as the lead bad guy, who are trying to become the owners of Oasis so that they can put basically microtransactions and a paywall to what is actually a free service. And okay, that's fine. Then it becomes just a constant barrage of scenes that are actually very entertaining in the moment, especially in the first half. And there is a moment midway through the film which is an homage to a movie by one of Spielberg's best friends, and that is probably and easily the highlight of the film, because the reference itself has a meaning behind the entire story. It isn't just there for reference sake, and it is so fun to watch. And a perfect homage, especially if you know Spielberg is a big friend of this director. It brought the feels, knowing the backstory, so if you watch the film, I don't want to spoil it, but I probably already guess what movie it is. But I love that sequence. The sequence was outstanding, it was fun, it was tense, it was very enjoyable, but all the other references and cameos and constant pop culture 80s, 90s references that they're making, it's weird because they don't really beat you over the head with them. Sometimes they're just there for their own sake, and at the same time they can get overwhelming. And I don't know, like, some people are loving it, saying, whoa, you see the Battletoads. Like, okay, like, it's nice that those things are there, but it's never doesn't really serve a purpose to the plot. There is just the Iron Giant, who actually has a purpose more or less, but for the most part they're just there for their own sake. And a lot of them are relatively obscure, because I am a big movie buff, so a lot of this I knew already, but how many people are gonna say, oh fuck yeah, Buckaroo Banzai, the investigation across the 8th dimension or whatever. I don't know how many people have actually seen that, especially nowadays. It's talk about a cult classic, but yeah, those things are there, and that would have been entirely fine, except that the story itself, as I've said, simplistic, basic, especially the romance between Tye Sheridan and Olivia Cooke. What the hell was that? It's just like, hey, you're a nice girl, I love you. I don't love you. Oh, well, now I love you too as well. Well, boom, just throw everything at the wall, maybe something's gonna actually stick in that. It was annoying after a while, and that's the thing, you get to the third act of the film, And it's so long. It's so long. It's not unbearably long, it actually has a very nice pacing to it. But you start feeling the momentum starting to slow down, because after that scene halfway through, I was very pumped up. I was like, okay, what's gonna happen next? And it was just became tiring, and that's unfortunate. That's truly unfortunate. But other than that, like, the visual effects, everything inside the Oasis looks nice. It's like it's so much into the uncanny valley that you accept everything that you're seeing, because it is a video game after all, even though it becomes a little dodgy here and there, especially near the end. And one aspect that I didn't really like at all was the color palette. And I know that when you have a shit ton of characters from a multitude of different movies and video games and whatnot, each one of them has a different color, and you should like color correct every single scene depending on the characters that are there. But that would have, like, I would have preferred for this film to wait another year just for the color correction, instead of having this that is just gray. It's ugly, honestly, especially during the final climactic battle, which has shit ton of characters. It would have been awesome, but it's just great people moving together. Even the Halo characters like Master Chief, they should be green, but they're grayish. It's like, okay. And that's my takeaway from the film. It is enjoyable in the moment, nice pacing, nice, a couple of really nice action scenes, well shot especially. You understand what's going on, but it just becomes too much after a while. So, I do recommend that you check it out if you are really big on nostalgia and all of these little references. If you just enjoy watching references for their own sake, just because they exist and they're shown to you, that's fine, go and enjoy this film. But other than that, me personally, that's okay. It's a watchable film. I would not want to go back and check out every little frame of Ethan characters. Just isn't all that appealing to me. I probably expected something more from the story, especially for what they set up in the beginning, but unfortunately it goes nowhere and it goes to the most cliched route possible. But oh well, it happens. But still, guys, if you watched Ready Player One, do you like or do you dislike? And if you read the book, tell me in the comments below. Thanks for watching, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.